BTS meal. Uncle and fry.
Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the DUDECAST. Welcome to episode 11, and what's this? What's this? Do we actually sound decent for once? Oh my god! Can you actually hear me above the air level in your car? The reason why... Oh shit. Get hyped, it's podcast time. That was fucking terrible. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of the DUDECAST. And this is episode 11. And what's this? Oh my god, do I actually sound decent for once in a podcast? What? No way. No way. That is not a thing that is happening right now. It is. It is happening right now. What is this? I can actually be heard over the air in your car that you're listening. You're listening to the DUDECAST in your car, right? On your way to work, right? I'd listen to the DUDECAST. I would listen to the DUDECAST if it was on Spotify. That'd be great. I would listen to the DUDECAST on Spotify if I was going to work. If I leave my house at around like 5:50. If I leave my house at around like 5:50 and I'm running late for work and I'm basically like bolting out my door. I got my car ready, it's up and running, and I'll be like, oh fuck, I'm gonna be late. Wait, hold on. Let me just hop on Spotify real quick. Go into favorites. DUDECAST, episode 11. Play that shit. Okay. Nah, but yeah, I tried to film this on my phone. It was just not working out. I was just getting like texts and notifications left and right, and I was like, you know what? It's a sign. It's a sign that DUDECAST needs to change. No more phone. Can't be doing the podcast on the phone anymore. Got to step it up, because you know what? I was trying to listen to it while I was on my way to the gym. That's right. I listen to my own podcast while I'm driving. Yeah, fuck you. Anyway. Yeah. But yeah, I was trying to listen, keyword trying to listen to the podcast on my way to the gym. And I had my phone up at max volume, right? And keep in mind, in my car, I also have like AC, right? I have AC, and the air, you can control whether the air is like low or like if it blasts in your face. But like, you got that, and then you got the phone playing at max volume, which I don't usually have a problem listening to the phone at max volume, but yet like, I was trying to listen to the podcast today, and wouldn't you know it, even though the phone was at max volume, I could not hear myself at all. I could not hear it. And, I turned it down like a couple notches, and it was dead silent, like just could not hear it. And I was like, wow. Usually I can hear myself just fine, but when I'm in my car, I can't hear anything that is coming through. I mean, I can hear stuff if I put it in like a specific area, but like I can't hear it that well compared to like other podcasts which use like actual microphones. They're not like on the fucking phone. This is on a microphone. So now if I listen to this, if I'm going to like the gym or if like I'm going to work at some point, now I'm going to be able to hear it. So yeah, with that out of the way, McDonald's. What a weird fucking segue that is. McDonald's. There's a McDonald's in my town, right? There's a McDonald's in my town. There's a McDonald's in a lot of people's towns. I have a McDonald's in my town. I have quite a few restaurants in my town. Or I guess I wouldn't call them like restaurants. They're more like fast food joints, but like people eat there all the time. We got a McDonald's, we got Culver's, which I just plugged Culver's in a DUDECAST episode. Isn't that funny? Because I work there. That's my job. I work there. It's like one of my two jobs. And so like, yeah, we got a McDonald's, we got a Culver's, we got Hardee's, Arby's, Jimmy John's, Frosted Spoon. I'm trying to think of what else do we got? Burger King, Pizza Hut, Casey's, Little Caesars, Subway, Dunkin' Donuts. We got like just a shit ton of food. Just waiting at the seams to be eaten. But yeah, like that, we got all that. But McDonald's is a place that I've always gone to since I was little. And I still go to this day. Yes, I do go to the gym. That is a thing that I do. I go to the gym quite often, or at least I try to. I should be going more often, but I don't. But yeah, like that is something that I always do. I always go to McDonald's. I go to McDonald's maybe like once every like 2 weeks, maybe. Like I'll have McDonald's for like once 1 week, and then like the next week I won't have it at all, and then the week after that I'll have it. It honestly just it depends on like what. It depends on the day, you know, like it depends on how I'm feeling that day, or like how hungry I am, or like, you know, if I need something to eat before I go into work at Culver's, I'll just be like, you know what, I'll stop by either Culver's or I'll stop by McDonald's, you know, just to grab something to eat real quick. So yeah, that's how McDonald's has been at the moment. But yeah, so yeah, that's McDonald's. Whoa, holy shit, what is that music? Huh, that better be some awesome music that I'm listening to right now. Oh man, it'd be such a shame that if it wasn't. The reason why you're listening to this is because you, my friend, are listening to the DUDECAST. And let me tell you something, if you are enjoying this, if this is the first time that you have ever listened to the DUDECAST, check out the playlist for every DUDECAST episode. Every single episode of the DUDECAST from 1 through 11, which is this episode now, is now out on a playlist. You can listen to any episode you want whenever you feel like it, at your any time of the day. You want to listen to the DUDECAST while you're brushing your teeth before you go to work? You can do that. You want to listen to the DUDECAST while you're taking a shower? It's going to be a little hard to hear, but you can. Do you want to listen to the DUDECAST while you're jerking off and need background noise? You can do that as well. It'd be a little weird, but you can do that. Listen to the DUDECAST, and if you enjoy the DUDECAST, make sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. Now then, let's get back to 3 scary McDonald's stories. Okay, I don't know. I'm not really sure what that was. But yeah, so the reason why I bring up McDonald's is because I've got a subject for today's episode. I know, shocking. But today's episode is actually going to be about McDonald's. Not just McDonald's in general, but... Wait, I got a burp coming. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I thought it'd be funny if I made you think I like died or something. I don't know. Anyway, spoiler alert. I'm still very much alive. Okay, so anyway, McDonald's. Yes, McDonald's. Sorry if I'm I'm super energetic right now. I'm hyper. Like I'm very hyper right now, and I have no idea why. So in case if you haven't noticed. You probably haven't noticed. McDonald's is a place that my friends and I, at one time, would visit very frequently, and sometimes we still do. But last year in particular, we went there quite a bit. And the reason why we went there is because you know, you live in a small town like Rock Falls, Illinois. You know, Rock Falls is a very small town. There's not much to do around here. The only things you can really do around here are like go to parks, eat, depending on the type of person you are, do drugs, smoke, you know, all that shit. Which I don't do any of that shit. Just for the record, I do not do drugs or smoke or anything like that. But some of the people in these stories, pretty sure they probably did a little bit of everything. It's a little teaser for you. So yeah, I've had quite a couple of experiences. Whatever. Okay, so basically what I'm trying to say is, I've had a few interesting experiences at McDonald's. and I'm going to share those with you with three creepy tales of McDonald's. Maybe that's the episode name. I don't know. Oh my god, I am stuffy. It's allergy season, baby. It is allergy season. So yeah, I got these stories I want to share from McDonald's. It's only 3, but so the first one isn't really that scary, but like the second and third one, they're kind of not really scary either, but like they're kind of like just eerie, you know, like kind of weird stories, weird experiences. Okay, so let's start with the first one. So the first one's just kind of like a jumbled up like collaboration of like several stories in one. So throughout the last year, yeah, that made fucking sense. I'm tired now. Why? I went from being hyper to tired in the span of like 2 minutes. But yeah, like what was I gonna say? Oh, right. I've had plenty of experiences. It smelled like I just like smacked my ass. It sounded like I just like smacked my ass like out of like, oh, I got an idea. Let's I'm having way too much fun. All right, so throughout the times that I have gone to McDonald's, I have seen a lot of things. A lot of people doing dumb shit, a lot of car accidents. And I'm just going to start it off right off the bat. You know, I've been stalling quite a bit. It's time to get into it. So, let's start it off. First of all, let's talk about the couple of car accidents that I've seen. So, let's talk about them in order, I guess. The first car accident that we saw at McDonald's. My memory of it is kind of vague. It's kind of foggy, but I still kind of remember it a little bit. So I remember we were in the McDonald's parking lot. It was me. I don't know who else was there. Caleb was there, I think. I'm pretty sure Jacob or XX Walker. Fuck, I just dropped his name. I'll bleep it out. But yeah, like it was me, XX Walker, Caleb or Coasty, and some other people. I don't know who else was there, but I know there was quite a few people there. I'm pretty sure Tom was there too. I made a podcast about Tom, so you probably know who Tom is if you've listened to that podcast, which you should. Okay. So yeah, you know, we're all chilling in the parking lot, and we're sitting in a car because what we used to do, and this happened a lot last year, specifically last year, and a little bit of this year too. We don't do it as much as we do. Fucking turned into Porky Pig. We used to do this quite a bit last year, but we don't do it as much now. I think we did it a little bit this year as well too. But what we used to do is that we used to sit in the McDonald's parking lot, and every once in a while we'd get out of our cars, like we'd all drive there, and then we'd all get in the parking lot, and then we would get out, and we'd just chill in the McDonald's parking lot for like a couple hours, and then we'd all get back into our cars and do something. Or if we weren't doing that, we were like sitting in cars, individual cars, and just like talking to each other and just like hanging out with like other people in our cars as well. I don't know if there was like a lot of people there, because I think we were all just like packed into one car. I think we were all just packed into that big Silver. You know, the video I made about Big Silver. Everyone knows the video I made about Big Silver. You know, I mean, it was a big deal. It was Coasty's car. So we're all chilling in Coasty's car, right? We're all chilling in Big Silver. I think it was Big Silver. I'm pretty fucking sure it was Big Silver. I'm almost positive it was. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But so we're chilling in the McDonald's parking lot, and so we decide that, you know, we're gonna go do something, or some, I don't know, maybe drive up to Sterling and go to Walmart or something. I don't know. We have like certain things that we do all the time, and we were gonna do something. I don't know what, but we were gonna do something, and so we pull out of the parking lot, and you know, we're getting ready to take off, and our McDonald's like drive-through has like a curve to it, so like when you're pulling like through it, you have to turn a little bit to like get to the exit. There's like two exits in the McDonald's drive-thru. There's like an exit, but like also an entrance, and then there's just an exit and also an entrance. So yeah, so we had to take that turn. And so while we're doing that, there's this car that comes up from behind us. And it was this blue car, and it was like full of a bunch of like teenagers, like not even like older teenagers, like it was like they looked maybe like 16, 15, like just learned how to drive. Maybe not. Maybe they looked a little older than that. Maybe like 16, 17, around that area. So they come up behind us, right? And they come up behind us, and I remember them going straight forward, not having a care in the world, and then this guy is coming out, like trying to back out, and then like they run head on into him. And they weren't going very fast, but they weren't going very slow either. Like, oh, excuse me. It's like, it's really hard to explain. It's like how do I describe it? It's like when you put your car in drive and you just let it go for a little bit, and then like you lightly tap the pedal. You know, it's kind of like that. That's kind of like the pace they were going a little bit. And sorry, I had to let my dog in, but yeah, like that's kind of like the pace they were going a little bit. And so yeah, like it wasn't like a huge crash, but it was more like a bump more than anything else, kind of like that. And yeah, like we watched and we heard this thud, and you know, they get out and, you know, they're talking to this guy, and I think the guy was like, I'm pretty sure the guy was like maybe like 17, 18, somewhere around there, or maybe he was older than that, I don't know, but like we look out the window, and you know, we just see these guys, like they're talking, and you know, it was like these like it was like two boys and like three girls, and I'm pretty sure they were like not the greatest, you know, like I'm pretty sure they were like probably high as a kite, or like they just simply weren't paying attention. I don't know. My theory is that they were probably high, you know, like probably. That if I had to guess anything based off of that, I'd probably say that the driver was probably high, and his friends just let him drive because, you know, he probably said he was fine, and then he wasn't fine. And because of that, they got into an accident. And so yeah, that's basically all I remember about that one. And so now you got the second car crash that I remember, and I remember this one a little more vaguely now, or vividly. I get not vaguely, vividly. I remember this one a little more vividly. So we're chilling out in the McDonald's parking lot once again, and you know, this time instead of being in a car, you know, there's a pretty decent sized group of us. We're standing and just chilling out in the McDonald's parking lot at like night. Both of these incidents took place at night. As a matter of fact, all these incidents took place at night. And you know, we're chilling out there, and next thing you know, we just hear this loud bang, and it sounded like somebody got shot in the street. And so I turn around, I look over, and I see these two cars are just like going out of control, and one of them crashes into another car, and that causes another loud bang. And I was just like, I thought, you know, somebody just got fucking shot. You know, that's how loud it was. And you know, some of us went over there to see, well, like we didn't go over to like the scene, but like we looked at it and like walked a little closer to it to like get a better look at it. And yeah, like I don't know what happened to those guys. I don't know if they're okay. I hope they're okay. But yeah, I remember those two. And this third part of this first story is the third mini story to this first part is I remember this one time I was we were having some sort of, I think it was a Halloween party or something, at my cousin's house. Um, so my cousin Allie, her parents, which are my aunt and uncle, obviously, they were having like this. They were having this party, like this Halloween party, at at their house. Sorry, I just got like a funny visual in my head. So this was on Halloween, and I had to work on Halloween, right? I had to work on Halloween, and I dressed up as the Mandalorian for work, and but I couldn't wear the helmet because it was just like a mask. So I had to just wear the costume, and I had like this cape, and it was cool, and like it was windy that day, so like the wind was blowing my cape, and like I felt like I felt like the coolest dude in the fucking world. So I get off of work, and I'm driving around town with my with my Mandalorian costume on, and so I get to McDonald's, right? I get to the drive-through McDonald's, and there's this group of like teenage girls in this car, right? You get a group of teenage girls together in the middle of the night, it's asking for trouble. It is not a good combination, because girls tend to act, and I should specify when I say girls, I mean teenage girls. And when I say teenage girls, I mean dumb teenage girls. Because not every teenage girl is dumb. I'm not saying that every teenage girl is dumb. Only a certain few of teenage girls are fucking stupid. Okay? I'm just throwing that out there, okay? I don't know who these girls were, but they were acting fucking stupid. Because here's the thing. So I'm behind these girls, right? I'm behind these girls. I'm waiting in line, just chilling in my car. I still got my Mandalorian costume on. Just waiting, And these girls, they stop their car, right? They stop their car before they can go pull up to like order their food. They stop their car. Nobody's in front of them. They stop the car. They get out of the car, and they switch. There's a couple of girls that switch seats. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of dumb. Why'd they do that? And so they do that, and they're holding up the line. They pull up and order their food, and then they go to pull up to the window, and then they stop again, and then they switch seats again. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, you're holding up the line. Like, what the fuck are you guys even doing? Like, I remember as they did that, they like got out and they started like running around, and then they like got back in the car. I'm like, what the fuck are you guys doing? And here's the worst part. So they get up to the window to like pay for their food, and I'm assuming they knew the girl that was working the window, because when they got up to the window and paid for their food, they were up there talking, like not making like side talk or anything like that. No, they were having like a full-blown conversation with the girl that was behind the window, and they were up there for, I'm shitting you not, they were up there for a good like 4 minutes just talking. And at this point I'm starting to get pissed, because I'm like, I'm behind you. I know you don't give two shits, but I'm behind you. It's late at night. I'm hungry. I want my food that I've ordered, and you guys are holding up the line. So, they finally get their food, and then I take off to Allie's house, and I'm there, and it's like fucking 9 o'clock at night. And then I had to explain like why I was late, because I was like, oh yeah, these teenage girls are being fucking stupid. So yeah, that's the end of story 1. Now I'm just pissed.
Level 1 completed. Podcast achieved.
So, now we're on to the nitty gritty here. So now we're on to story 2. And this is when things kind of start to get interesting. So let's talk about this one right here, because this one is very fascinating. So the second story takes place in, once again, the parking lot. A lot of shit happens in the parking lot. So I can't even describe who's all there, but it's one of those nights where, like, you know, we've been hanging out for a long time. We've been hanging out for quite a bit that night. And I just remember, you know, we're chilling there in the parking lot, right? All of my friends at this point are like packed into they're packed into one car, because one of our buddies that everyone likes, his name's Bud. That's not his actual name, although it legally should be. It legally should be just Bud, but it's not. I'm not going to tell you his actual name, but his nickname, his famous nickname around town is Bud. And not Butt, Bud with a D. So these nuts. Anyway, so Bud shows up with a girl. I'm not going to say her name, but he shows up with a girl that everyone in the group knows, and everyone's pretty cool with. And so she shows up. They're in her car, and so yeah, they're in her car, and everyone at some point, everyone decides that it's a great idea to just pack themselves into her car. And keep in mind, I'm in my own car by myself with nobody else. I'm just watching this whole thing unfold, and everyone's just packing into this poor girl's car. And at one point, she even gets kicked out of her own car. And you know, I offer, like, do you want to just sit in my car since you got kicked out of your own car? She's like, no, I'm good. So eventually she gets her car back. She gets into her own car, and, you know, everyone's just kind of chilling in there. And next you know, I look over and I see there's this lady. She's a little older. She looks like probably like mid 40s maybe. I don't know. She looked on the older side. So she's walking across the street to the drive-thru, right? She's walking across the street to the McDonald's. She's not walking normally. She's like, when she's walking, she's dragging her feet, kind of like she's walking kind of like a zombie, kind of, except like an alive zombie, I guess. Like, imagine how a zombie would walk, but like, just imagine like how someone looks when they like walk when they drag their feet. Like, imagine like someone who's tired, they're just walking and they're dragging their feet. So that's what she looked like. She looked rough. She looked very rough. Her hair was a mess. She had like a tank top on and shorts. She just looked like a crackhead or like a pothead. Like she looked bad. Like she looked like she'd seen better days. And so she's walking past us, and you know, everyone's kind of like, okay, that's weird. You know, why is she walking around here at this time? Like, she must be on drugs or something. And so this woman, I guess, heard this. I don't know how she heard it, but she did, because they were talking kind of lowly to each other. And so this lady hears that, and she turns around, and she's like, "You got something to say? You got something to say?" And my cousin Jaden, who was also in the car, in the girl's car, he's like, "What?" And she just kind of like repeats herself over and over again. She's like, "You got something to say? You know, like, you got something to say to me? You know, like, what are you trying to say?" And Jane, the whole time, Jane's like, "We weren't saying anything. Like, I don't know if you maybe like heard something, or like, I don't know, but like, we weren't saying anything." And so, you know, she's kind of like, "Well, I thought I heard someone say something, and I swear it was from you. One of you said something, you know, you got something to say," or like, and at this point, Jane's like, no, we didn't say anything. You know, like, we didn't say anything. And so I forgot to mention, so at one point, when everyone was, like, clawing into this poor girl's car, at one point, Tom got out and, like, met up with... Sorry, I had to let my dog out. Anyway, so at one point, Tom got out, and he started to... Because he got out because he saw one of his older friends pulled up to the McDonald's parking lot as well. And so he's like, oh, what's up, man? And so, like, he went off on the other side of the parking lot and started talking to them. And so, you know, this lady's talking to all of them in this girl's car. And eventually she moves on and she starts walking back to where she came from. And she walks past my car. I was expecting her to say something to me because I was watching this entire thing. And surprisingly, she didn't. She didn't say anything to me. She just walked past me. But I'm watching this lady. I'm watching her walk. And she says something to Tom and his friend. And she asks the same thing. And she's like, you know, you got something to say? You know, you talking about me? What do you got to say? And, you know, they say the same thing. And they're like, no, we didn't say anything. And then she just walks back to where she came from. You know, she just crosses the street, and that's the last we saw of her that night. So yeah, that was an interesting little story. It's very, very weird. Very, very weird. But yeah, that's the second story.
Level 2 complete acid copy extension.
So now we're on the third story now. This is the third and final story for today. And this one, I remember this one very well. Because it happened to me. It happened to me. Yeah, did you like that little dramatic cue that I had there? Yeah, that was pretty fucking cool. I like doing this podcast like this. I should do it like this more often. You know, this should be the new way I do this podcast, because I can do so much with this now and make it a lot more interesting. But yeah, so this story, this is an interesting one. I know I said the last one was interesting, but this one is the more like scarier, I guess, the more scarier of the three. And go figure, I saved this one for last because this one actually happened to me. Okay, so this is another thing. I get off of work from Culver's, right? It's late at night. It's around 8:25, 8:30ish. So, you know, I get off of work. I drive to McDonald's. Oh, that was violent. Wow. So yeah, I get off of work from Culver's. I drive to McDonald's, and you know, I pull in through the drive-thru like usual. And at the time, I was really into McChickens. You know, anytime I went to McDonald's, that's all I ever got was the McChicken. Because how it worked, because first of all, the McChicken is like so small. Can I just say that? Like, the McChicken is so small, it's hard to just eat one, like, on its own, because it's tiny. I remember the first time I ever got a McChicken, I was like, oh, that's it? Like, it's kind of tiny. So I always order two now. Whenever I get the McChicken, I always get two. And so did I mention I go to the gym, by the way? So yeah, I drive up into the drive-thru and I order the usual, which is 2 McChickens with a large fry. And so I do that. I get that ordered. And, you know, I'm driving like around this curve to get to the window to pay for my food. And out of nowhere, like as I'm in the... So I get to this... So I'm taking that turn. I stop because there's someone in front of me, right? There's a guy in front of me with his car. And so, you know, I stop. I'm waiting in line. And out of nowhere, this lady comes up to my car. And she's got red hair. She's like... She doesn't look less like homeless like the last woman did. But I was like... She comes up to my car and she starts knocking on my window. right? She starts knocking on my window, and I was like, okay, this is fucking weird. So I was very interested. I was like, what does she want? You know, like, this has never happened to me before, so I'm like, what the fuck could she possibly want? And so I roll the window down, and I don't roll it down all the way. I think I rolled it like semi down, like I didn't crack it, but like I like rolled it down to the point where like I could hear her. And so I roll it down, and she's like, hey, if I give you some money, can you buy me some food? If I give you some money, can you buy me some cheeseburgers from here, please? And I'm like, this is fucking weird. So you know, I try to be polite about it. I'm like, no thanks, I'm good. And or no, I think she was like, can you buy me yeah, 'cause she comes up to my car and she's like, can you buy me a couple of cheeseburgers, please? I'll give you money. And I'm like, no, that's weird. And she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. And so, you know, she backs off, and I roll up my window, and at this point, the guy in front of me has already paid for his food, and you know, he pulls up, and so now it's my turn to pay for my food. And as I'm about to pull up to the window, this lady walks in front of my car up to the window and tries to order herself food. And I'm just like, at this point I'm pissed, because I'm like, what the fuck? This lady is definitely on something right now, because she walks up to the window and she literally like tries to order her own food. Like, she's talking to the lady in the window and she's like trying to order herself food with the line. And at this point, I'm getting pissed. So I didn't honk at her, even though I probably should have. That would have been the best thing to do. But instead of honking at her, I just slightly, because at this point, you know, my jaw is on the ground. My jaw is on the floor right now, because I'm like, you can't be fucking for real right now. Like, is this actually happening right now? And so I inch forward just a little bit, and when I do that, she turns and she looks at me, and she gives me this look that, like, what I just did was fucking stupid. Like, she gave me that, like, you're stupid look. And like she gave me the look that a parent would give you when, like, you do some stupid shit, you know? Like, they get, you know how your parents give you the, why would you do that look? Like, you know that kind of look? She gave me that kind of look, like I was fucking stupid. And like, she puts up her hand and she's like, no, like, as if like I did something wrong. Like, lady, I'm in a car. You are not in a car. You're not supposed to be here. And you're trying to tell me off. Like, I was so angry and confused, and like, so eventually the lady at the window has to like talk some sense into her and be like, hey, listen, you can't do this. What you're trying to do, you can't do. And keep in mind, this is like during COVID, so like, you know, you can't go through you can't go inside. So she backs off and she goes back into her car. And finally I get to pay for my food. And the girl that was at the window, she looked like around my age, maybe a little older. And I just pull up to her and I'm just like, I'm so sorry that you had to deal with that. I don't know what that was. And you know, me and her, we both just kind of laughed it off. But yeah, that was just like just a weird experience. Like, imagine someone coming up to your car and asking you to pay for to get them food, and like, once you tell them no, they're like, oh, okay, and then they like proceed to walk in front of your car and try to order themselves food through the window. Like, just imagine that, because that's exactly what I had to do. That's exactly what I had to witness. And then like when I try to pull up, she's like, oh no, what the fuck are you doing? You know, like, I'm sorry, you know, fucking, I'm sorry. I tried to like, I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. My bad. Sorry. But yeah, that's the third story.